guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna do something a little bit more lighthearted because later today I'm gonna be watching the film Cuties, which I did talk about prior, but I'm actually gonna watch it and then talk about it again. And if you know what that movie's about, you need to do something chill before you watch that. Send prayers my way, please. Anyways, today we're gonna talk about a stupid Cosmopolitan article because, you know, it's just the OG thing to do. Before we do that though, I did want to thank today's sponsor, which is Scentbird. Scentbird is a fragrance subscription service that gives you the opportunity to shop from over 600 brands. The subscription is flexible, so you can skip a month with no penalty. The subscription itself is $15 a month. Each fragrance comes with a 30-day supply, so you can try it out before committing to a full bottle. Scentbird carries a variety of brands such as classics like Versace and Prada, and indie labels such as Rag & Bone and Confessions of a Rebel. Scentbird helps you discover new fragrances via a quick quiz. They then pair you with fragrances that are up your alley. This month, Scentbird partnered with a new fragrance brand called Sanctuary. Sanctuary was created to raise awareness and money to help save endangered species. Scentbird is going to donate $1 from each Sanctuary vial of Red Panda ordered to the Red Panda Network, an organization committed to the conservation of wild red pandas and their habitat. Red pandas were actually discovered 50 years prior to the giant panda, and there could be as few as 2,500 left in the wild. Go ahead to scentbird.com by clicking the link below. Use my code and get 30% off your first month. Just $10 and support this awesome cause. I don't think I need to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I really truly have a disproportionate dislike for the invention of new words that nobody needs. So, you know, when you just see magazines trying to make a word happen, but you know it's not gonna happen, that's kind of how I feel about just stupid new terminology that nobody asked for. Hold on to your wigs. Whelming is the newest dating app trend that takes bragging to a whole new level. Eye roll to anyone who does this. Seriously? So there's overwhelming and there's underwhelming, and now we're gonna focus on whelming, I suppose. Recently, self-editor Patya Braithwaite wrote about a new dating app trend she's experienced, which she coined whelming, a phenomenon in which a male match shares how completely overwhelmed he feels by all the female attention and matches he's getting on dating apps. See, now, for me and for a lot of people, this just makes you an asshole. Like, there's no need for a new term. Also, I do think it's interesting that this is only exclusive to males because, I mean, assholes come in all forms, literally and figuratively, and I just don't know why it's specifically, I mean, like, obviously if this person only is looking for men, of course you would only note the trend with men. Braithwaite wrote that she encountered the problem more than once and most frequently on the app Bumble, where women must reach out to men first in order to start a conversation. She writes of one whelming experience. His answers were a mix of complaints, "It's just too much," and weird misogynistic ramblings. "Why does every girl on here love brunch and tacos?" I unmatched, thinking this was an isolated instance. Noting that there's a trend of like liking something is not, I don't think, misogynistic, the same way that if I say that on dating apps back when I used to be on Tinder there were a lot of pictures of men holding fish, I don't think that's against men. It's something I noted. It's another thing though if you followed it with saying that it's dumb or something, because then that's unnecessarily judgmental. For like brunch and tacos, it's not that controversial, but I don't really see it as necessarily misogynistic by itself. But I might be missing something. Who knows? Yikes. Lots of red flags here, people. Props to Braithwaite for having the patience to try and listen to this guy. I wouldn't, and help him out. Like, no one is holding a knife up to his throat and making him fawn over brunch and tacos. If he hates brunch and tacos, just don't partake. Curious to see if this was a widespread thing, Braithwaite asked her friends if they'd also encountered whelming. The answer, yes. As much as I wouldn't want anyone to deal with asshole people, it's also like there was no reason you couldn't unmatch or stop talking to them, especially if you're this freshly into talking. It'd be one thing if you already committed to someone and you do want to help them because you care about them, so on and so forth, whatever. But it's like if you just matched with someone and you haven't invested anything in them, nobody is putting a gun to your head making you A, listen to them, B, be their therapist, or C, try and fix them. So as much as like this is annoying, it's also like, did you have to put yourself through it? Well, you know, actually that's very hypocritical because I make videos about things that annoy me and I put myself through it by my own volition. So maybe I have more in common with this editor than I thought. In fact, one of her friends was told by a match that he was simply too busy to keep track of everyone trying to date him to possibly meet up with her, and that she wouldn't understand. LOL. I don't know who these men are. I don't know how so many women are encountering them, but they sound terrible. If I met someone like that who was saying this unironically, I would be concerned for their grasp on reality, because imagine, it would be like a rich person coming to you and being like, oh, guys, I'm so tired. It's so difficult managing all these massive stacks of cash that I have lying around. Like, I don't know where to put it. I have too much money to deal with. My God, you guys wouldn't understand. Jeffree Star. Not only is his sorry, but I'm hotter than you and therefore in more demand a concept you simply wouldn't understand. Power play, super insulting, but it's just incredibly stupid. Agreed. Everyone is busy, we get it, but if you can't read a room and learn to compartmentalize and do the bare minimum of time management, i.e. deciding who you want to spend 30 seconds responding to on an app, then you really have no business dating grown women, because you sound like a man-child baby. I completely agree in terms of the time management aspect, and that's something that goes like beyond, you know, just this article. I definitely feel like even in friendships, people choose to make time for you. So even if someone's the busiest fucking person, it doesn't take a year to even just text someone and be like, yo, I'm busy today, I'm sorry if I don't respond, and have that be it. If people actively choose to always be too busy for you, that's a sign. Now, I'm certainly not one to complain about dating app fatigue, because hello, I wrote a whole story on it in 2018, but I'm not complaining directly to my matches. Ugh, there's so many of you, I'm exhausted. Also, it's not their job to be my therapist if I feel exhausted by the process, and I agree with that as well. Emotional labor is not a new convo, but I can't help but think about how very codependent and childish it is to put your matches feeling so beneath you that you prioritize your self-made stress from swipe fatigue above baseline etiquette. Not to mention, we all know how this would go down if a woman told a man to queue up because there was 2 blocks full of hotties lining up for a shot with her. As Braithwaite points out, you'd never hear of someone coming up to a bar in an effort to light a fire under your ass and brag about how many people want to take them home tonight. Basically, if anyone feels the need to put you down or devalue you because they have so many matches, do them a favor and take something off their plate, unmatch them. I do want to say something here, and ooh, am I gonna get kind of controversial? I believe emotional labor is a thing. I, however, don't think it should be used lightly, and I certainly don't think it should be used in this context, simply because for me, emotional labor is very particular to when you're invested in someone, and therefore you do emotional labor, which isn't fair, mind you, to help them progress in some way or help them understand something. Maybe your parents don't understand your lifestyle and you have to have taxing conversations with them over and over. You'll do that because there's a reason. You're invested, they're your parents, you care for them, blah, blah, blah. I don't think you can use that same term for some rando you just matched with on Bumble who, like, you probably don't even know his last name. Like, I wouldn't use the term emotional labor there, because there's no real investment unless you've already invested in someone that you just matched with, which is another discussion, which I'm not going to go into because yikes. But I don't really think emotional labor should be used here, because realistically, there's no investment, so you can unmatch, you can swipe and find someone else. There's nothing there that's making you do that, or there's no real reason, in my opinion, to do that, because again, like the author of this article said themselves, you are not their therapist, so you don't have to do that kind of work for some guy you haven't even met in person. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? This article was interesting. I do have to say, I think I would have been more interested to see if there was a comparison to be made with men who match with women on Tinder, and to see if any of the women behave this way, because I do think that it isn't a gender-specific thing to be an ass, in my opinion. And aside from that, I also think a lot of people project insecurity by being kind of pompous and cocky to kind of hide that insecurity. So I'm not saying everyone who does this is insecure, but I also think it comes from something else, and it's not based on your genitalia or what you identify as much as it's just based on personality traits that can combine to make you a jerk, essentially. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.